Hey guys, I'm in my 2009 Mini Cooper and I'm going to give you an update. I changed my thermostat housing assembly and fixed my oil pressure switch connector. So now the engine's running a lot hotter, but I'm noticing when it runs hot, your oil pressure drops. So I installed an extra temperature gauge here, and that actually reads on the outside of the engine coolant area along the on one of the hoses. Then I have a oil pressure gauge here, and right now it's reading about 40 psi on my oil. And to double check, I installed one of those OBD2 readers transmitters that hooks up to my phone, and that gives me the engine coolant temperature that's actually on the engine side. So you'll get a slight mismatch between this one and this one until the thermostat opens up. So I'm trying to figure out, this is a video on your oil pressure drop, low oil pressure, and let me show you what happens. After about 4 miles of driving, my engine's going to get really warm, but no engine light's going to come on, but the oil pressure is going to drop here. So let me go ahead and put it on pause. I have to use a different phone because I can't use my own phone because my phone's up there. And let me figure out how to do that. Okay, sitting here just idling. I'm going to take it out for a drive. I'm about 134 on the engine side of the temperature sensor for the engine. And here I'm about 130, which is on the other side, so the thermostat hasn't opened up yet. And my oil pressure is still around 40 psi. So let's go ahead and take it down the road and see what happens. Okay, I was driving for a couple miles. So you can see actually the engine temperature is from the sensor, the regular engine sensor is about 190. And then on this is a little bit less than 190. Oh, it's about the same. So that means the thermostat may be starting to open up, because the temperature is about the same. Before they were very different, at least 20 degrees. And now you see the pressure has dropped to around 20. So let's drive a little bit more and see if it gets so warm that the low pressure sensor reads very low pressure. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this while driving. You see about over 200, 208, 206. This is reading over 220, around 230, and my oil pressure is still at 30. So right now we're still pretty good, but it's running a lot warmer than I thought it would be. That especially if the thermostat opened up, it should be dropping below 200. So let's see what happens. This one's dropping a little bit, but let's drive a little bit more and see what happens. Okay, driving a little bit slower. I was around 221. Okay, you know, it's dropping now. 208, 204, 203. This makes me think the thermostat has completely opened fully. Here it's still showing around 220, and my oil pressure is dropping down to about 15 psi now. So I'm gonna drive around the neighborhood a little bit and see what happens. Okay, this is what's happening. This is my low oil pressure warning. It's dropping below 10 psi, and my temperature, the sensor where this is in the coming into the radiator, I believe, from the thermostat assembly. That's where this sensor is. So this one is showing 230. the temperature sensor that's on the engine side is showing around 206. I have no over temperature warnings or oil pressure switch that's warnings for the engine. So sometimes this would drop almost down to 0 or down less than 5 in the past. It really depends on how hot the engine gets. So I'm attributing now that when the engine gets really hot, the coolant gets really hot, the engine coolant gets really hot, you get low oil pressure, and that's really bad because you have no warning lights that tell you have low oil pressure, and your engine's getting really warm, and there's no engine lights that tell you that it's really getting warm without its outside whatever setting specifications that it has. But I can really see that the engine is really working hard. So I changed out the thermostat, so I'm thinking that I may have an air bubble. I tried bleeding it, so I'm going to try bleeding it again. If that doesn't work, I'm going to go ahead and try and put a vacuum on it, see if I can do that, and see if that fixes it. So later on I'll do a video on this, the reader that I'm using, the OBD2 reader that's hooked up to my phone. It's really cool. You can change out this dial to a whole bunch of different things, intake, mass airflow, whatever you want, but it's a cool reader. And once I see if I could bleed it and see if that solves it, that may be the solution to why I get low oil pressure. So okay, it's getting really toasty in the engine now. I'm at 226.4, and my oil pressure has dropped down to 5 psi, and it's flashing because I've set a warning at less than 10. And this other temperature sensor is reading at 220, 34, 250. So that one's reading at 250, flowing through the radiator. This one's at 226, the engine one that comes with the OEM, and oil pressure is really low, but no warning lights for anything. So I know in the past my engine usually doesn't run this warm. It's actually running too cool, and that's why I end up changing the thermostat. I was getting an engine error saying the thermostat was stuck open. So when it's stuck open, I was only hitting like 180, 200 on this gauge here. So after I changed it out, now I'm running really warm. So the only thing I could think of is maybe there's a big air pocket somewhere inside the engine. So I'll try bleeding it, and I'll try, if that does work, I'll try pulling a vacuum or something and see if that works and fixes it. So so that's just to let you guys know, really warm engine. You may not know it if you don't have any gauges. This can actually help tell you that you have a warm engine. It won't tell you you have low oil pressure, but you can relate that if your engine gets really warm, your oil pressure is going to start dropping, and that's going to be bad for your engine. So good luck on yours, and thanks for watching.